Fantastic. Wow, I am really, really excited to welcome today an amazing, awesome guest who's doing incredible work in the world. And I'm always drawn to people that are making a big difference. And this man is making a huge difference as a humanitarian and on the planet with his work. And so to me, this is where I'm really, really focused in terms of my interviews and what I think is really important to be contributing, to the planet at the minute. And I'd like to share with you our wonderful guest today, who is Tom Paladino. Welcome, Tom. Fantastic to have you here. And you are doing some great things, and we're going to talk about what you're doing today. So first of all, I did an interview with you a while ago on Scalar Light, and we talked about Scalar Light. So just to start with, I'd like you to give people again another description about what Scalar Light is and what it does on the planet at the moment.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you, Dina. We're going to speak about a new and emerging science, scalar energy, scalar light. I work with engineered instruments, scalar energy instruments behind me. Why is this important? This energy is the driving force in the universe. Scalar energy is the energy of the sun and the stars. And now we can harness that energy. And by harnessing that energy, we can do incredible things to improve quantum health. So join us. This is a new technology that we will see a significant improvement in the world condition with the implementation of this new technology.
I love how from quite an early age, you were on track with your soul mission, which is working with this energy. I love to see that in people and that you're so incredibly passionate about it. So what was the journey? I know that you were fascinated by Tesla, and you straight away, when you read about him, you got what he was doing. So share with us, that passion and that drive that's brought you through in this really powerful mission that you have on Earth.
Tesla was, if you will, a motivating force. Tesla was somebody that I admired with his research. And the main reason I was enthralled with his research is not only was he brilliant, but he wanted to help mankind. And frankly, that really resonates with me. Technology is fine, but you have to put it to good use. And Tesla was not only a genius, but a humanitarian. And in many ways, I've modeled my career after him. I want to use this technology to help mankind. What's the point of technology if it doesn't uplift everybody? So that's where we're going. And why am I so effusive in the praise of Tesla? Because he introduced this new technology. Now we simply have to repeat his work and benefit from it. And that's what we're trying to do, is repeat the work of Nikola Tesla.
Did it take long for you to construct the technology that you're using to be able to send out this scalar light? Was it a long process to be able to create that?
Yes. It started with Tesla, another American inventor by the name of Hieronymus. I studied under the Hieronymus family, and I've been working with researchers and experimenters in the present day age. And to put it into context, it's been 100 years, at least 100 years of theory and practice. What we understood 100 years ago in theory, now we have brought it to practical application. So with that said, I'm not the only inventor. I'm not the only one behind this wheel. It's been one generation after another generation of hard work. Make no mistake, when it's a new and emerging science, you have to learn from ground floor. And we've done that. It's been well worth it, but it's hard work.
I love how you can simultaneously, with the process of what you're doing, treat millions of people around the world with scalar light, which is, it's one thing to be able to work one-on-one, helping somebody to support their soul growth and evolution. But when you can work simultaneously with millions of people to raise their frequency and bring in this higher vibrational energy into their field, and all that. That is incredible, because that's making the biggest difference. That's what I love about what you're doing. You have, I just share with this before we get to some really important humanitarian work you're doing. You have a 15-day free trial available to anyone who's watching, which I highly recommend for people to do. I personally, just sharing my own experience, noticed a lot of shifts when I did it. One of them, there were many, but one of them was my sense of smell greatly improved. And for the first time, I was walking around the supermarket and I could smell other people in the supermarket, which wasn't necessarily a good thing. But I could literally smell them. Oh, it was like really weird. And so that was one thing. Another thing was the ability, and this I noticed other people shared with me, that as soon as they went into the energy of the scalar light, they connected to the quantum field around them. For somebody
Yeah.
else, she shared with me, it was a fascinating story, and she doesn't want me to share it in depth because, it's personal, but I'll just say that she went out on social media, because she's an amazing person and she does work, and her name went out in social media, and 50 people tried to contact her within the first 5 minutes of her going into the quantum energy on social media. That's her connecting to the quantum field. Fascinating. I myself experienced, for the first and only time, it hasn't happened since, just after I went into it, 3 wallabies came right onto my property simultaneously. And they generally, we only ever see one at a time, but wallabies represent healing. And I thought, wow, that really says a lot. And also for the first and only time we saw a black swan as well on our property. So, it's just really connecting nature and all that quantum field. So there's lots of incredible things, and people just reporting feeling happier and feeling lighter. So I really recommend, there's no obligation for people to go and try that 15-day free trial and share it with family and friends, because it's going to lift the planet, it's going to lift humanity and lift us all collectively. So the links will be below for that. So thank you, Tom, for that experience. It's been amazing. So what I wanted to share today, because we haven't discussed this, is you are doing a lot of humanitarian work on the planet, side by side with all this wonderful scalar light that you're giving to the world. So please share with us. You have project, for example, in Tanzania. I'd love you to share what's happening there.
Thank you. Thank you. We're working with various HIV/AIDS clinic in Tanzania. Our work is free of charge. We want to help the people out. Now, why do we do that? This instrument is able to identify the HIV virus and transmute it or break it down. What do I mean by that? When I work with people with scalar energy, I work with their photograph. This is my photograph. My photograph has energy. I actually place the photograph inside the instrument. Now, in application, in practice, I'll take a photograph of the HIV virus and I will match it up with my photograph. The two photographs communicate. Now, let me give you an analogy. Medina and I are having a conversation through a computer. Medina's not in my laboratory. I'm not in her office. We share the image by way of a computer. When people send me their photographic image, their image is placed inside the instrument. And there's a download of energy. I'll demonstrate how this instrument can illuminate a light bulb. There's a download of energy from my photograph to the HIV virus or vice versa. Meaning what? These two quantum fields communicate. In so doing, now to explain, that arrangement in a quantum field of two entities will not only communicate but serve to cancel out the energy of the HIV virus. So by that arrangement in this instrument, we can destroy the HIV virus by canceling the energy. It's not a chemical process. We cancel, we negate the molecular bonds. So with that in mind, we've been working with people around the world who are HIV positive. And people simply send us their photograph or a collage of photographs. And I place group photographs inside the instrument, and the instrument will source out the HIV virus and bring it to a state of confusion or negate the energy field.
You've actually got evidence of tests before and after that this has actually um, negated the viral load in
That's
literal physical tests, which is
that's
incredible.
that's correct. So in application, by way of a photograph, we can access the person, their aura or their spirit. Imagine a person has an aura. That's what we're working with. Why? Because bilocate and their aura is found on the photograph, their quantum field or their aura. So, as Medina was mentioning, we have before and after PCR tests. Many people from Tanzania that we work with are now reporting that they no longer have a viral load for HIV. Now, keep in mind, we've worked with many clinics, many groups in Tanzania. People were HIV positive. And after working with these clinics, nobody has a viral load for HIV.
That is absolutely mind blowing. So, I have an example of one of the tests here. I'm just going to bring it up on the screen, please, Tom, so that people can see it a bit more clearly.
Yep.
Here we have somebody writing, "Dear Tom, it is with absolute joy I wish to share you my PCR test results. I decided to do a follow-up test after testing negative to make sure the HSV virus was not active in my body. It wasn't till I found you I knew in my heart it was this, the Scalar technique or nothing. Here are the two documents I want to share with you to confirm how my absolute determination and belief in the Scalar machine did these negative results. Your support through this process was of utmost help as well." And so there's the top report on January the 15th, and then there's another report on March the 15th, 2029. So just talk us a little bit through what this means so people can really understand it.
Okay, this woman was complaining of some type of a herpes infection. She had herpes infection for years. Now, after sending us her photograph, she decided to have two follow-up tests. Both tests, PCR tests, proved negative. One test was conducted on January 15th of 2018, negative, no viral load. A follow-up test was conducted March 15th, 2021. Both tests came back negative, no viral load. And since that time, she feels well. She's not had symptoms of the herpes virus. Now, bear in mind, the only distinguishing factor is this woman sent her photograph to us. She's
Yes.
not on any other medication. She simply sent us her photograph, and through the quantum plane on a photograph, we can pinpoint, we can find the herpes virus and eradicate it. So consider what this means to people. No longer do people have to suffer from herpes or other viral infections. This is going to be a game changer. Once the world realizes what we can do, that so many people will benefit by matching up the herpes virus with a person's photograph. Again, the two energy fields communicate. This arrangement will find the herpes signal, will find the herpes virus in my quantum field and eradicate it. Well, that sounds great to me. It's much easier to work with a photograph than it is with a person. This
Yes.
is the new science.
It's absolutely amazing. And I think people just have to wrap their head around that this is possible and this is actually working, because that's the hurdle, that people are not familiar with how Scalar Light works. And also, I think the key factor here with the herpes is that's often considered, if you have that condition, you can't eradicate it, you can't get rid of it, it's there for the rest of your life. But you've
Right.
proven otherwise, which is absolutely
You're right. And thank you
awesome.
for mentioning that. These viruses are deemed to be incurable. Well, according to what you just showed the audience, that PCR shows that that individual no longer has a viral load. You can interpret that as you will. But after two back-to-back tests, no viral load and no symptoms of herpes, well, that speaks volumes. Something's going on here. There's something positive about our work.
Absolutely. you can see you're so shiny and you've got so much light coming from you, Tom. I can see very easily that it's working brilliantly for you in your energy field.
You're
So
right. And that's a product of being happy.
yeah, yeah. And also doing something really powerful and constructive for the world. So it's like when you put that energy out into the world to make a difference and do that, it comes back to you in spades. Not that you do it for that reason, but it does. It's like it comes back anyway. So it's interesting how that works.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is a lot of fun. I have great joy in doing what I'm doing.
Yes, yes,
And the reason I say that, we help people. It's safe, it's easy. Working with a photograph, there's no negative side effect. You can't get a headache from a photograph.
mm.
You can't have a skin rash from a photograph. So this is the easy way of addressing quantum illness.
And I did a while ago. I bought some zinc tablets, and I started taking one, and I got the worst headache. It was a really bad headache. So even supplements, you can just have. We're quite sensitive, and as we are downloaded more and more encodings and more light as the planet transitions, we're becoming more sensitive. So that simple things like supplements can be just way too much for your system to be able to integrate and absorb, whereas this scalar light is absolutely only beneficial on all levels. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. It's the easy way of doing things. Look, the physical world is a reality, but it's difficult and it's slow. Light, energy, it happens in a flash. Why not work with light? It's much easier.
absolutely, absolutely. So, additionally, I wanted to mention that in Tanzania, Tom, you are, through your work, Scalar Light, you're donating goats to the people of Tanzania.
Yes.
I remember I did that years ago for one of my relatives. It was her birthday, and she said she didn't want anything, so I bought her a goat for a birthday, for somebody in Africa to benefit from that. But tell us about this. What's happening here?
Yeah, we do donate goats to people in Africa. And I never understood animal husbandry as I do now. Goats multiply quickly, and goats are easy to take care of. Now, goats make wonderful animals. They're relatively tame. They're not they're not big like cows or horses. And the fact that they can eat just about anything, and again, they multiply quickly. They have offspring every 7 or 8 months. The key is this: a pair of goats, a male and a female, can produce 10 goats. And those 10 goats can produce 100 goats. So we've started off maybe with 200 goats. I think the community now is at least 5,000.
5,000 goats. Wow. Wow. That's a lot of milk, goat milk.
Yes, it is. It's a
Gee,
lot of milk for people.
yes.
You're absolutely right. Goat milk is excellent. Keep in mind, these people, some of them, they can barely afford to support themselves.
Mm.
A goat to them is a diamond mine.
Mm, absolutely. Oh, well, I think that's brilliant what you're doing there. That's going to make a huge difference. So whenever anyone gets a scalar light, so what happens is you give the 15 days free trial. If people want to continue, they can then subscribe, and a portion of that goes to these communities in terms of the
Yes,
guides. So that's fantastic.
yes. Yeah,
Fantastic.
and that's how we give back to society. It's all circular. If you just keep circulating the resources, everybody benefits. So join our movement. We're going to change the world with this process, with scalar energy. Join us.
Well, we actually have something exciting to share too, that we're going to be doing a symposium or a telesummit with some other amazing energy healers like Tracy from her clinic in Queensland with the SKIO and with your work. And we're going to combine together to do some planetary healing on the water sources, and to do with also being able to get people to connect to truth, on the planet, to be able to get people to energetically be able to connect to what is truth on the planet. So that's an exciting project we're working on too, that we've just decided to bring through, which will be happening in November. And so please stay tuned to that, because the more people that join that, the bigger shift we can make planetarily. Water is such an important component, isn't it, at the moment, Tom? There's so much people's awareness placed, or realizing that water is such a essential aspect to our humanity and to our consciousness.
You know, what I would like to do when I'm in that ability, I would like to be able to donate monies for drilling water wells. There are many communities out there that could flourish if they simply had water. Well, you can, and in the future, that's one of my goals. I'm sure Medina will join me. Let's find communities that need a well dug, and it's expensive, but the entire community benefits from it. What does this mean? It means communities will be self-sustaining. If there's no water, then you move on. You move out of that area. Now, this happens frequently in places like Africa or even Asia if there's not a water supply.
Yes, yes. I know actually a fellow who has created these little water bottle pods that they remineralize the water, and they take out, toxification in the water when people drink from them. And he provides them, I think, in India, or is it Africa? I think it's India. He provides these bottles as well. So that's interesting, to be able to share with people too. So this is very exciting, Tom, because we are here to serve the collective. We're here because it's not about serving ourselves anymore. It's looking at the bigger picture and seeing how we can best serve humanity and the bigger picture, I think, for many of us. And because most people on the planet want to be constructive, they want to be productive, they want to make a difference. These are all really powerful ways that we can join together to change the world. And I'm
Yes.
sure more and more people are hearing that call. Are you feeling that more people are tapping into that now, Tom?
Yeah. Yes. And I'll tell you why. Because it's the right thing to do. The awareness of mankind has been increased over the years, especially during the past pandemic. And people see that when they have a grassroots movement, you can achieve so much. I strongly encourage people to develop grassroots communities. It doesn't have to be big, 5 or 10 people to start. You can move mountains with 5 or 10 people. Trust me, it works.
Yes.
We can move mountains with a small number of people. You don't need a big corporation. As a matter of fact, I would dissuade you from trying to work through big corporations because it's so hard to have a consensus. The smaller the community, the easier it is to come to a working consensus.
It's so true. And when you even do like a meditation with 5 people, it magnifies far greater than the energy of those 5 people. It really goes out and expands in a huge way, even just 5 people. I think they say when you get 3 or more people together, it just, boom, the energy really, really expands. So maybe people can leave comments in the comments below about if they've started small communities themselves. What have people done out there? Because that can inspire other people. So please, feel free to leave a comment below if you have created a small community yourself, and what are you doing out there in the world? Because I'd love to encourage everybody watching that you can, get activated if you're currently not doing anything and you don't feel that you're making a difference in the world. You can just straight away step into that, activate that, and get that going on the planet. And honestly, you feel so much better. You've got something to jump out of bed in the morning and go, wow, I've got this to look forward to. I'm making a difference. It's what inspires and motivates us, isn't it? What do
Yes,
you
it is. Yes, it is.
think?
I'll give you an analogy.
Mhm.
Some of you play sports. You organize a sports team. Well, that's a group of people for a common good. And you don't need a sports team can be 10 people, 15 people, but you have a lot of pleasure playing sports. If you have a picnic, you don't need a big corporation. It's a small group of people. If you have a church or a social club, you don't need a multinational.
Oh, you froze there, Tom.
I'm sorry. It is important. I'll repeat myself. Many of us have a church, a community, a social club, a sports team. You don't need a big corporation. You don't need hundreds of thousands of people. Start small. You'll attract like-minded people. Now look at the great effort and look at the enjoyment and the benefit from society from a church or a social club or a sports team or some type of volunteer, some type of charitable endeavor. The key is this: to get active, to do what you like, to find people that you can thrive with, that people that you can correspond with, people that will work hand in hand with your endeavor. This is our endeavor. This is what Dina and I envision with scalar energy. We want to welcome the entire world. The day that comes that we can treat 5 million people a day by way of their photograph, we'll be happy. That day is coming.
Yes, absolutely. And wow, just imagine, I mean, you've already got 500,000 people in there. And to imagine 5 million people all receiving this incredible uh, scalar light, what a shift that will make to the whole. That will
Yes.
be a huge frequency shift. So if there's anyone out there that has a podcast series or is a podcaster or has a big social media community, we'd love to speak to you to get this out in a big, big way to the planet, because this is a really important focus for me to be able to shift the collective as quickly as I can in the best way that I can. And I think Scalar Light's doing this. So anyone out there's hearing this message, contact me. Let's work together on this and get Tom's incredible work out there. Tom, also, I'd like to acknowledge that you have to have a person of great integrity and soul standing to be able to hold the energy of what you're doing. And you have that. So I really want to acknowledge you for that, because that's really important too. This is powerful work, and you are holding it with incredible integrity. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a pleasure in service, working for God and his people. It's a pleasure to do this. It's work, but it's enjoyable work.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, Tom. I'm going to be very excited to share this with my community, and we'll continue with another podcast in the future. I'm wanting to talk to you about your Christ consciousness experiences in our next podcast and how that's inspired you. So that will be coming up in a few weeks. And we also have our wonderful symposium that's going to be in November to help to uplift the water sources and to bring more truth into the world. These are two key areas we felt were really important. And so the scalar light and the skio energy that Tracy works with, and some of her also colleagues are going to hopefully be joining us as well. We're going to be spreading this energy out far and wide on the planet to make a difference. So again, anyone out there that's listening that would like to try the 15-day free trial, please go to the description link below and book yours. All you need is a photograph, and just be, mindful as you get the energy of any differences and shifts that you experience. Because sometimes when things happen, if we're not mindful, we can't sort of identify or acknowledge what's happening. So it's really good to be mindful as you experience the energy of this. And I think that is a key factor too. And for me, I'm very sensitive, so I really notice any sort of shifts that happen. So thank you so much, Tom. Look forward to continuing to get Scalar Light out there in a big way. And thank you again.
Thank you.